This is one of those moments where you have to suddenly sit there and agree, man, that looks painful. This is Darksiders. I'm playing the Xbox 360 version. There is also a PlayStation 3 version available. And Darksiders, for the most part, is a surprisingly fun and enjoyable hack and slash. Now, I know many reviewers have been contemplative to returning it to either it is a God of War or it is a Zelda ripoff, but truth be told, it's neither one of those. What Darksiders really is actually a very cool hack and slash in which you play as one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, mainly War, as he seeks revenge or tries to reveal the truth behind his summoning, which came at the wrong time. You see, there's 7 seals that have to be broken in order for the apocalypse, quote-unquote, to take place. And during that time, the 3 kingdoms, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of hell, and the kingdom of man, will go to war, and ultimately the victor will decide which kingdom prospers and moves on to become the one true kingdom. It's a pretty complex story. I'm not going to try to repeat it word for word verbatim here, but let's just say it's interesting enough to keep you going.
The 7th seal was not broken!
Abaddon! What in heaven's name have you done?
I answer the call.
So the majority of the gameplay is going to be hack and slash. If you like swords and fantasy and all that, you're going to be right at home here. However, you will notice some conventions that have been done before. There are spots that will, grant you life back or magic power back, etc. And there are these blocked gateways that you have to fight enemies before passing. Now, this is where many have called this a God of War ripoff. It's been done before that. It's been done in Devil May Cry and a bunch of other games that I can recall right off the top of my head, and I don't see how this makes it a ripoff in any sense. What I do see is vicious combat and visceral sense of actually making impact with your targets. This game has some amazing sound design, as you've previously heard in the cutscenes that I put into this review. But at the same time, it looks really good. And a lot of people have said that the 360 version suffers from some severe slowdown, and this is not the case, as you're seeing right here. There is no slowdown to be found. There's a moment here or there where it'll stutter, but for the most part, this is a very clean experience. And I've played both versions, and I can tell you the only major difference is that the 360 version, I think the colors look a little bit more vibrant, but this can be fixed by playing with the settings on anybody's TV, so not really a problem. Smooth and silky the entire time, and that's good because the combat is awesome. I mean, can you get more awesome than throwing a grand piano at a demon like that? I don't think so. Something else I want to highlight, however, is that after you fight any enemy in this game for long enough, you'll see a button prompt. It allows you to do a finisher. Something many reviewers are failing to mention is that you do not have to do this every single time. It certainly looks cool. On an enemy like this, which is almost like a mini-boss at this point in the game, you pretty much have to do it. But on regular enemies you'll see throughout the game dispersed, you don't have to do it. You can just keep hacking and slashing and kill them the normal old-fashioned way. But really, who wants to do that? You want to do it with some style. And let me tell you something, this game has style. This is also one of the few games I've played in this generation where pacing is absolutely perfectly done, and that you always feel like you're making progress, and you always feel like you're advancing somewhere new. Sort of like in Zelda. I won't lie, there are similarities with Zelda, especially when you do a lock-on in this game and you attack. But on a whole, even if you were to compare this to Zelda, it is way too violent to be in Zelda's class. That, and this game has something Zelda does not. Voice acting. Top-notch voice acting. Voice acting from one Mr. Mark Hamill, for example.
Until this is over, you're a dog on a leash. I say bark, you bark. And if I have to kick you, you'd better not bare your teeth. Understand?
So yes, you can sit here all day and compare this to Zelda or God of War or Ninja Gaiden or whatever you'd like, but in reality, there's one game that is constantly left out in comparison notes that this game feels a whole lot like. In fact, it seems like at points it's trying to do exactly what that game did, and doing it pretty damn well for its right. That game would be Soul Reaver. I don't know how many people remember Soul Reaver at this point, but basically, Darksiders is like a more violent, apocalyptic version of Soul Reaver for me. It has the same basic mechanics in place, and there's even a difference of world type thing that happens later on. I'm not spoiling anything, so I'm not saying any more than that. let's just say, in terms of design and how the game flows, I would say if you liked Soul Reaver or any game such like Soul Reaver, in the sense that there's an overworld and then there's arcing dungeons and different places you need to get with various items, almost a Metroid-ish sense, I guess you could say, because that's really what spawned that style of gameplay, in my opinion, then you're really going to enjoy the hell out of Darksiders.
Non straga sindora.
Do you know what's imprisoned here? There are things even you should fear, horseman. Once you were strong, but now you are weak and you are alone. The Destroyer knows of your coming. Even now, he moves his legions against you.
Then I'll make this quick.
So in summation, I would say that anybody who enjoys a fun game with good graphics and good gameplay is probably going to love Darksiders. Anybody who's looking for the next game to invent the friggin' wheel of gaming is not going to. If you're anything like IGN and you can't stop nitpicking a game as to what it references or what it uses that has already been done, then stay away from Darksiders, because you're obviously going to sit there nitpicking it the entire time. But if you're somebody who enjoys video games on a whole and hasn't forgotten what a fun game is, instead of trying to place it against everything else that already came out, then most likely, you're going to love Darksiders. And I highly recommend you pick it up.